somehow. I'm not sure. I see a lot of material moves on this email. I'm not. You guys will explain all of that, but so go ahead. Start with your finesse process. Maybe we can go over that process. See what you're trying to do.
Yeah, Nikhil, can you start?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Okay. All right. So yeah, let's start with finesse. So finesse basically are web pods that sorry, painter pods that we will be. It's basically a location transfer between two inventory locations. Um, so a level 2 pod is basically a web pod, which is a raw material. We are transferring that from WIP 90, which is our specific inventory location for the raw material, and then transferring that into a finesse location. We have inventory location created for the finessing process. So all we do is transfer the level 2 pod from WIP 90 to finesse. We work on the pod, finessing is complete, and then transfer that back from finesse to WIP 90. It's just a location transfer. So what Mark was asking is that can we have this with a click of a button? So that's the requirement.
I mean, is that a click of a button is just one part, or?
So it will be at pod level, yes. So when you say, say pod X, so pod X is a raw material, you hit the button, it transfers from WIP 90 to finesse, and then it sits in finesse location until the whole process is complete. And once the process is complete, you again for that particular part number hit another button, and it transfers back from finesse to WIP 90.
Back to 90. So these are unlabeled parts, right? The parts aren't individually labeled.
These were the parts are not individually labeled. No,
Okay.
there's a label on a container, and not everything on it goes into finesse. So it's only a part of it that goes in for
Now,
finesse.
when you say level 2 parts at the station, this is on conveyor 3, so you're making a finished good, and this level 2 part is just a component, right?
Correct. It's a raw material. Correct. It's a component.
So how many of the part, like, because they select the part number they like to set up, how many parts are in the bill of materials of that finished part? How do I know what? Is there only one? Is this a manufactured whip part? So there's only one manufactured part type in the finished parts bill of material. Trying to determine how would I know what the level 2 part you're talking about? That
So
you want to finesse.
So the level 2 pod is a manufactured pod, and
Okay.
Nikhil, is it possible you can share the bomb structure with Art right now in a share screen, and he can explain from there, like for the specific conveyor 13 something?
Okay, can try and fetch a pod number. Just give me a second here.
If there's only one manufactured part in the bill of materials of the finished
Correct,
part that you're making, then I can identify it. There's only one, so then I could easily determine that, and then move one of those to finesse. Moves.
Yeah, just give me a second.
Now these material moves would just occur on transfer M.
Yes, we need to.
Yes, so it should occur on transfer M as well. Yes.
Right, because I mean, in Blackhawk, there's no serial number. We have to scan things by serial number, so we couldn't do a material move without a serial number.
Without
so I
a
guess
serial number?
Right. So I mean, it wouldn't be on. I guess it wouldn't be any purpose to move it on Blackhawk because they're not the individual parts aren't in that location anyways.
What if Art we can do like there is a button and we can click the button and it asks the quantity how many parts you want to move. We already select that part number in Blackhawk already, so it
Right.
understand. Okay, I want to move like 10 parts on this particular location. When you hit done, it's already moved on that. So we don't need a serial number, or we don't need to print the label on that scenario.
Right. Yeah. Now that's what I was asking before, whether when printing a button, when you press a button, did it just move one part, versus what you're saying is prompting for the quantity, and then they can enter 10 if they wanted to,
Yeah, exactly. It's because that's things easier for everyone, because otherwise it's like each quantity is going to be hard.
Right.
Right. So, and it's going to be only one part though. It's a different. I mean, it's going to be multiple quantities of the same part.
Yes.
Correct. Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's basically what we're looking for. So it's one part number, and it's a manufactured level 2 part. So it's basically at that same level. You're not really converting that, or you're not labor reporting or anything to consume the components or anything of that sort. All we're doing is just transfer from one location to the other.
Right. Now, I mean, this is in building 90. Could this be eventually used in other other buildings? I mean,
It could be depends the program. It depends on all the program. If the program need finance, then yes.
so I mean, you want to make a finesse 90 location, right? So that
I
if
think
in
it
the
should have
future,
something like that, right, Nikhil?
Right now, there's only finesse location, which is because it's only used at 90.
yeah,
Now, we could use the same, the same concept for something else at other location. Like,
right,
say, if it's going for sanding, for example, right? So
right,
it goes from again, it goes from one location, goes for sanding, comes back because it's coming back as the same part number.
right,
The thing here is for the finesse program, for the finesse process, you're not really changing the part number. It's the same part number that goes in and out.
right,
The only tricky part is for the the rework process, which is where the part number changes. But I think for finesse, it's the same part number. It's just the quantity that we need to input that goes from VIP90, which is the raw location, to finesse, and then after the finesse process, it comes back from finesse to VIP90 or whatever is finessed.
right. So let's say they move part A and to finesse, and then on the assembly process they change their finished part number. So then the manufacturing component there is part B. All right, and they press the button to move parts back from finesse to whip 90. What does it move?
So no, it won't move. So okay, so there's no change of part in finesse. First thing, right? Because we are not changing from part A to part B during the finesse process. So you will not, because from what you're saying, if we go into finesse and then once you change the part number, then obviously we won't be able to transfer part A back because it's already changed to part B.
I
Right.
mean,
So
these are going to be custom buttons on the production client that's at the end of assembly, at the assembly or conveyor 13.
no, this will be before. It'll be before, I guess. I think Pankil can answer to that. Pankil, is it at the end of the assembly line?
It is before
Yeah,
the line.
correct. Yeah.
I mean, there's a station there already?
Oh, we can make the station. It's not a big deal. But currently, what happened? We are using the assembly station right now because both line, like conveyor 13, we have two stations, left hand side and right hand side. And currently, they are running one station at a time. So we are using the other one to report finance. If that things work, then definitely we can put individual station for this reporting purpose.
So it would be a production station, but
As of testing purpose, yes, we can use as production station, but if it is need like separate workstation, definitely that can be arranged.
Right. No, no, no. I mean, physically, eventually there would be another client there in the front of line, right? And I'm saying that we would. I mean, these are going to be custom buttons because that's not part of the regular production reporting. It's got to be a custom button to do this.
Correct. Correct.
And we only have so many custom buttons along the top toolbar, like 5, I believe. I'm just thinking to myself.
Pankaj, did you say that we do have a finish button already on Black Hawk?
We don't have the finish button, but we do have, I guess, scrap. We were using scrap.
Oh, okay. But scrap, you're still using scrap though.
Yeah.
I mean,
we have rework.
This doesn't sound like scrap at all. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you send 10 parts to finesse, when you move them back from finesse to whip 90, do I have to prompt for quantity again? Because you could only maybe properly finesse 8 of them.
That is true. That's something I'm not very sure. I don't know if they're moving everything back in and scrapping it out of WIP 90, or if they're scrapping it out of finesse directly. That's something I'll have to check with the production team and get back.
Okay.
Just give me a second. I'm just gonna reach out to them right now. All right, guys. Sorry, couldn't get hold of them, but I will get back to you on that.
All right. All right. So I think I got that for now. Let's go on to the next one, rework.
Right. So rework process is a little more complicated from what I see compared to finesse, but so reworks basically when when the pods are painted and comes out of the paint line, and we identify that as if there's a rework to be done on the pod, like if there's buffing needs to be done and things like that, we move them into the rework location, and then it's whatever the rework process is done, and once it's done, it's transferred back into the raw pod number, and it's it's put online for painting again. So the first step in rework would be the painted part. When the painted part comes in, comes out of the paint line, it's a level 4 part number, and at that level 4, we are reporting production on the painted level, and then that consumes the paint and everything, and then that level 4 part number is first moved into rework location. So that's the location transfer, just as the finesse we discussed. So it's going from WIP 90 to rework. And then at rework location, once it's once the rework process is complete, that level 4 part number is, what we do right now is we do an inventory adjustment. So if there's 10 pieces on part A, that 10 pieces is taken out from that part number, and 10 pieces is added back into its raw part number on the bill of material. The raw part number gets 10 pieces and it still sits in rework location. And when they rack that part for painting, it's being transferred. The raw part number is transferred from rework to WIP 90. That's basically the gist of the process there. So I think it's about 3 steps. First step is transfer from WIP 90 to rework location.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
That was WIP 90.
Yep.
90
90
to rework.
Rework, yeah. So we have an inventory location called rework.
All right.
Right. And the second step would be, so after the rework is complete physically, your it's an inventory adjustment that we do. But I don't know how we would do that in Blackhawk, but what we expect is that the quantity that is in rework is taken out of the painted level and added back into the raw level.
All right, hold on. Justin, so you're taking, say that again. You take the
So we take
quantity
the-
of parts that are in
painted level.
rework.
Correct.
They take the quantity of
So what goes into
parts.
the rework is the painted part, is the painted level 4 part number in this case.
Right. Okay.
And then in the bill of material, under the level 4 part number, you will see there will be a component under it, which is the raw part.
Hold on. When we do the inventory adjustment, we're take a quantity of the parts in rework level
Right.
4, and what do we do with that adjustment?
And then so that same quantity is added back into its corresponding raw part number.
Added the raw part number.
Yeah.
So what's done with the level 4?
So once we take that quantity out, it's no more level 4.
Oh, you're taking the inventory adjustment is to take the level 4 out.
Yes.
Out.
And then that quantity is added back into
and
the
then
raw.
Added the raw part back into.
Yeah.
Part back into rework location, right?
And it's in the rework location. Yeah. So the second step is happening within the rework location. There's no transfer there. And the third step is that raw part number being transferred back into WIP 90 as and when they, rack it on the line for painting.
Transfer
So
back
basically
to WIP 90.
Yeah, it's transferred back from rework to WIP 90.
Why isn't that third step just part of the second step instead of adding it
That's
back in the rework location? You just add them to the WIP 90.
Because the issue is that there are some reworks where it can if we do a rework on a particular color, you can only repaint it the same color. We won't be able to add it back into any other raw. So if it sits in WIP 90, when we do our material planning, it'll consider that raw as available. But in some cases, it may not be available for all colors. It'll be available only for a particular color, right? So that's why we want to leave it at rework location and then only transfer it when they are racking it on the line. That way they know what color is being transferred back into WIP 90.
I see.
Yeah.
So let's see. Again, when we go to do the rework, we need to prompt for quantity, right?
Correct.
Prompt for quantity. And so would this be 3 buttons on one station, or is this spread over a couple stations? All three of these steps. I mean, are they all done in one client station or?
No, I think it should be two, because the rework process, it happens on multiple pod numbers, right? So the rework location is a different location altogether. So it should be two different stations, right, Pankaj?
Right.
I guess that's how it should be.
All right. So what steps are on station one?
Station one, it'll be the transfer from
That's
WIP
it.
90 to rework. Yes.
That's all there is. That's on
Yes.
station one. All right,
Yes.
station one. And then station number two has both.
Yes.
2 and 3.
2 and 3, correct.
Okay. Okay. I think I got it enough to, think through this, how I'd
Right.
implement it. I could, might have some more questions. We got the
Sure,
one
no
about the prompting for quantity when we're bringing out of finesse. I guess, is there a similar prompt question for the rework?
There will be, yes. In rework procedure, so on the second level, at the second step, so there's definitely scrap involved, right? So there are parts that are reworked, and obviously not everything gets reworked, and some of them will be scrapped. So there should be a scrap step. So I think scrap's already there in Blackhawk. We have already been using that scrap button.
So I guess it's going to be applied in as finance as well, right? If the part not being financed, then it's going to be scrapped.
That I'm not so that's something that I wanted to double check with the team, because I don't know if they are scrapping it out of finesse or it's coming back into WIP 90 and scrapping it out of WIP 90.
Right. But for this one, when it's reworked, if we prompt to say, if they want to, after rework, does it prompt again for how many quantity, what the quantity is, and if the quantity is less than what was put in there, then are we assuming that the remainder is scrap?
Okay, so you mean to say if they don't scrap it, and does the system scrap it by itself? Is that what you're saying?
If they don't rework all of the parts that were put into rework, can we
Correct.
assume the balance is scrap?
It should be scrap, yes. But
Right.
also
we'd have
no,
to pick
it can be two cases. It's actually two cases. So it can either be scrap or that they didn't rework all of the parts that went in.
I see. So we can't assume.
Yeah,
that.
so we
Okay.
can't really assume that. Yeah.
Right, but we still have to prompt for quantity.
Correct.
Prompt quantity. And when they scrap it anyways, it would be scrap from stock.
Scrap from
And
stock, yes.
Yeah, they would have to select the defect code. You might
Correct.
have different defect codes, right?
Correct.
All right. Okay. All right, I think I got enough. So I will start thinking about this.
Based on the information, do we need a code on? Definitely, we need a code on this, right?
Oh yeah.
How is this going to be work? Like, are we going to work first with finance and then work with rework? How this going to be?
I would think we would somehow do it in a phase. Finesse seems easier, right? Kind of get that done first. See, because that's easier. I got to figure out how to initiate moves, and maybe it's no big deal. Maybe I just generate a dummy serial number and put it in our material move table, such that Kaz's stuff will pick it up and do the move.
Okay.
So yeah, I got to think that through.
Okay. No worries. Yeah, definitely. But if you don't mind, would you possible to send me a code for both process, either separate or together? I don't know how it's going to be. So at least I can start working on our end, because currently the approving the quote is hard time right now. So at least I can start working with that. If the mark think and the upper management think it's possible and it's reduce the pain for our end, might be it's get approval everything quickly.
So you want quotes on each one separately?
Better to have it separately. So at least and if you can provide me the together, if the price is different for each, like together, then yeah, give me the together. If there is nothing change on the price, then definitely go with the separately.
Oh, they would. I mean, they would have their own cost individually, and it would add up to be, more than just one.
Yeah, then give me the separate code. So at least I can ask them, okay, this is the code for finance process and this is code for rework. If they want to go with both together, I don't mind. If they want to go with a one by one at a time, then we
Yeah.
will go one by one.
Okay. Where will all right, so let me ask you this. I guess looking at there is kind of overlap here. You've got the one station that's at the beginning of this line in front of conveyor 13.
Yep.
And it's going to have the buttons to move to finesse and then back out of finesse. So then will that station also have the rework?
So okay,
button?
so how things work? So conveyor 13 will put the if that find out the part need a finance, they will put parts goes to finance. Now they click on a button. Okay, part goes to finance. Now they move the part on a finance station. That's a separate station for every part. Like that's a separate station, like individual station. Once they're done with the finance, then there is a black hawk already there. They can use that black hawk and say, okay, now my part is done, this part is done, now move back to the VIP 90 or whatever location, like or like Nikhil said, and that part comes back to that location again. Is it having the good idea, or do you think we need to use the same conveyor 13 when they put part back on the conveyor 13? What do you think?
I mean, you guys probably have a better feel for where the functionality should be. I didn't know whether, because you were going to eventually add a new station at the beginning of the
Yeah.
line for the finesse. Would you also have a rework button on that same station for
Yeah.
step
Yeah.
one of the rework process?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, we will. Yeah.
All right.
So if it is going to be generic button on each Blackhawk, then it's better. Then I can play around the station, and depending on that, I can, if that station need that button, I can enable it like the same way we are doing for part label or container label. Because if we are using the standalone station, then I don't need to put any other buttons like master button or print container label button. I just need two buttons on the top, which is going to be easy for me.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Let me work through it. And
All right.
I'll get back with you.
Sure. Yeah, I think Pankil, we should set up a follow-up meeting probably.
Yeah, when do you think you have some plan? So so I can invite Mark at least, and he will be ready on that. And then the same day, if we have quote, then he can see as well as. When do you think, Art?
I got to check with Kaz with the material moves and stuff, see how that works. I don't know, sometime next week, probably.
All right, okay. So what about what do you think, Nikhil? Next week is okay, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I think let's go 1 week. So let's do it
Yeah.
probably on Wednesday next week. Should be fine.
Let's do hold a second, because next week I will be on vacation. Yeah, 60. Next week. Yeah, let's go with Tuesday, because from Wednesday I will be on vacation.
Okay, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are you expecting the quote by Tuesday or just a follow-up discussion?
There is nothing left on discussion, if I'm not wrong. Is if it is like only the query, if you have that, we can give you answer by email, so you don't need to wait for that things. And if I get quote in earlier, then I can definitely pass through by Mark, and we just need one follow-up meeting. That everyone in the same place, and then we just need to do testing.
Right. I mean, I might have to, put up a quote together, send it to you to make sure that it looks right without any dollar mark on it.
Absolutely,
Just
absolutely.
screenshots and functionality and descriptions and stuff like that. And then
Yeah,
you two can review it and say if the functionality is correct. Then we would.
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So me and Nikhil are going to see the first. We will review together. If things whatever we think and whatever talk about today and is going to meet our requirement, then definitely we will let you know and also pass that same things to Mark and review with him separately. So you don't need to be bother or like spend time to like double spend timing with that.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay, so if you can send me the code by like I don't want to rush you, but by end of the weekend or like Monday at least latest, then it will be great. So Tuesday I can talk with Mark and Nikhil, and by then we can discuss something.
Okay. I'll try.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Bye
Thank you
now.
so
Thanks.
much.
Thanks.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Okay, bye.